So it is of course Pughy here from Definitive Esports doing Chobo2Gosu episode number 2, and this episode is titled Starting with Protoss because of course we're going to be learning the basics of Protoss and jumping into Protoss v Terran. Alright? So um, going looking back at the last episode, which was of course 2 weeks ago, because last week I was at I-Series, so this is it's been a bit of delay. So last episode, we covered like the basics, getting into StarCraft, and I told everyone if you want to get into StarCraft, as soon as you get it, you just play against the AI, right? Because the AI is just it's always there, it's consistent, it's at the harder levels, like very hard. It is going to be a lot more complicated and harder than say a silver opponent. So if you can't beat that, there's really no point trying to play people. And we're gonna move like more into that, but actually learning today and about the races, about Protoss and the units. So of course, Protoss is the race that I play. So obviously, I'm gonna be a little bit biased here, which you can't really blame me. And let me see if I can get. Is it arcade? I hate this new thing. Alright, so I'm going to jump into a unit test and we'll look at some of the units of the Protoss race, which is something, of course, you should be doing, and you should really know all the units and what they do. So hopefully all my sound is kind of okay, because I have had to readjust for being at the event. Okay, so we'll wait for it to load. Alright, so of course these are all the Protoss buildings and all the units come from these, right? So as soon as you get the game, you want to know the units. You should know every single one of these bad boys. And when we click on these, we can click on one, what they're good against, what are they weak against. That's quite strange. They're pretty decent against Ultralisks, but okay. And obviously you just want to learn what they're good at. This episode is learning Protoss and then Protoss v Terran. So I will be showing you a couple of games against Terran. And what will happen is pretty much I'll just show you the basics, what you want to do, the build order, stuff like that. But for this episode, we want to concentrate. Every uh, every Protoss unit kind of has a weakness within the Protoss or the Zerg race, and of course the Terran. So for Sentry, for example, they're strong against these. They're not really strong against any of the Terran units, but they're weak against the Reaper from the Terran army. And with Immortals, same thing, right? They're good against tanks, which are from the Terran army, and they're weak against Marines, which are from Terran army. So you pretty much, obviously, you don't want to fight Immortals v Marines, but against tanks, it's a good call. And with the unit tester, just build some units and practice fighting, the Protoss, and just micro a little bit and just practice. Yeah. So that was just an introduction to a couple of the units. Now, let's talk about a few things. So, within StarCraft, every time you build something, or whenever you start a game, you have something called a build order, alright? So, as soon as you start the game, you start 6 supply, because you have 6 harvesters, and then you'll be at 6 out of 9 or 6 out of 11, depending on what race. But Protoss, you're going to be at 6 out of 9. No, 6 out of 10, what am I on about? 6, 6 out of 10. And pretty much, so we're going to go over the build orders, and if you have a pen, write them down. So in PVT, which is Protoss v Terran, you go 9 pylon, 13 gateway, 15 gas, 16 pylon, 17 cybernetics core, 18 zealot, and then like that's just the basics. From that point, like do whatever you want, because if you're new to the game, it's not really gonna matter. All right, so let's create the game versus the AI on Zelnaga. And I will be playing this. So I'll put it on Terran, I'll put it on hard for now. And of course I'm playing as Protoss. So let's change the scene while it boots. There it is. Hopefully the game sound's not too loud. It feels a bit loud. Let me just edit it. Because of course when you're casting and all that good stuff, you can't have the sound too loud, because otherwise people don't hear you. So start game. So obviously you get your split and all that good stuff. Is my webcam on? Yeah, it is. That's good. That's good. I didn't think it was then. So we're going to build harvesters, because that's all you can build up until, like I said, 9 supply. And so once we hit 9, you wait for your 100, and that's how you kind of time things. It's just like, hey, okay, I've hit my supply, I've just got to wait for the money. So, a bit like that. First game and I'm live streaming, never helps. So, like, when you watch a lot of higher level players, obviously they'll have, they'll know exactly what they want to do with the build order, stuff like that. When you're new to the game, you're not really going to have a clue. So you kind of just want to get used to things. And when a lot of new players get into the game, a lot of players will be like, hey, just build stuff, macro, build stuff, build stuff. And a lot of players don't actually know what that really means. Like, and there is still a bit of an extent with that, Yeah, like, someone's gonna say, yeah, build loads of stuff, build loads of stuff. But if you build those zealots and they come at you with banshees, it's not really gonna work so well. So we have 13 supply, 150 is about to come up. Get your gateway. I lost my harvester, that's not good. It's not good at all. And so obviously the gateway is where all your units come from, so it's pretty important. It allows you to carry on tech in. Then you want to get your gas. It should be at 15, but because I just lost one. Because I just left on an attack move up here. Because I just lost one, obviously I've gone down 1 supply. Then next it is going to be your pylon. Like I said, you want to write this down. Like, you can get these build orders on Team Liquid and a ridiculous amount of other websites that we have gone over. So if you do forget, it's not the biggest issue. If you want to learn new and different builds, it's cool. We can do that, no problems. Oh, no. Oh, there we are. See? Come get me, boys. Come get me. So, oh. Nearly died. So, as soon as you get this, this is as far as I want you to get, right? I'm a little bit behind on supply, I will admit. Just because I lost that, I've been talking, so it's all good. And just build stuff, because I've seen, like, over the course of the weekend, especially when I went to this live event, I met people who actually just got StarCraft then. And, like, I spoke to one guy and he's like, yeah, it's downloading. So at one point, I went over to them and gave them tips. And I just said, like, play against the AI before you jump into land, because otherwise it's just going to get smashed. So people will be watching this, and especially if they can't lose to this, hopefully they'll learn. Um, it's just really not that hard. You just build a few units, get some supply going on. So whenever this starts to get close, you need to build a supply depot. Like, I'm not going to talk about Chrono Boost and talk about the numbers and all that good stuff, but it is cool. So just build units. So I'm going to go for Blink. So I have a specific build that I can do to smash this Terran, and I'm going to do it. We're going to go wind them up. And just keep building stuff. So, when you start getting money and you can't really spend it, add on production. This is if you build in units, if you build in your supply depots, if you build in your probes and all that, and you still have leftover money, then you're, you're more than fine to start adding on buildings. And obviously this is what I'm just doing because it's habit, but get a bit of pressure going on. So like I was showing you in that unit tester, just micro against Marines. If you target fire, you can kill them much faster. So you'll come back down the ramp now. Oh, now we have Marauders, so we have to be a little careful. So yeah, just build stuff, build stuff. Hopefully, like, you should have learnt about what some of the buildings do anyway. So obviously, I got an upgrade from here, which is your warp gate technology. And once you get that, oh shoot, actually I'm a bit too busy talking that. Don't worry about the robo. So of course I've turned these into warp gates, and then I'm building units directly from them, just like so. I'm getting blink as well because I just like blink. And like I say, you don't have to worry so much about this. Just build units. If you just constantly building units, you're fine. Now this should be a bit interesting. So I got more than enough units, and this is just while choking and chilling. Just keep building stuff. Building stuff's so much fun. And yeah, so I killed his push pretty easily. Like I said, the Terran always kind of pushes at around 8 minutes, just to put some pressure on you. Of course, I held that fine. So now it's my turn to put some pressure on, and my upgrade has finished now, so I do have blink. Way, so you can see that. Bring everything close. Actually, this blows out a lot. Oh, supply blocked. So we're gonna go up and start pressuring, and then it's like boom. And obviously with my superior control, this is like a dawdle. Easy peasy, easy peasy. And as you can see, this, it's pretty straightforward. Like, just play against the Terran. Like, the Terran will kind of build whatever it feels necessary to deal with you. And like, this is sorry, this is a hard. This isn't an easy, a super hard. So, obviously, if I do that again, it's gonna just attack with a couple more units, macro, that much better, etc., etc., etc. And, it's pretty easy stuff. And don't make me ban you from the chat, chatters. I'll get you. And let's have a game now against a very hard AI. And I'm not really gonna do any build. I'm just gonna build stuff, which is gonna be a little hard because obviously I know what I should be building. So let's jump in again. We got Protoss, Terran, very hard. And this time I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna pretend I'm a new person to this game as best as I can. So obviously look at the split and all that good stuff. And I'm just gonna show you, like, it doesn't really matter what you build, to a good extent at least. So I will get my numbers correctly. I will do that just to show you guys, like, it's not hard. Like, you don't have to touch anything to get there. So 50 minerals, just keep the harvester. Then we have to wait till 100 minerals. Then we build the pylon, and like, these are the ways that you remember it. So we're at 65, 70, 75, 80, 90. Get ready. We have two more, and boom. Pylon goes down. Carry mining. Keep building. Keep building harvesters. No, those people from the weekend down here online. That'd be a good like subject to have. Hey, I'm doing the show, by the way. Uh, so let's pretend that, like, I'm so bad I didn't even know what Chrono Boost is, right? So no Chrono Boost, as much as it's gonna kill me. And look, it's not much to do. Like, how people get this run is really a bit thin after they've been playing it for so long. So there we are. We have 13 queued. Obviously, we can get things a bit earlier because of the Chrono Boost. Because obviously, with Chrono Boost, you're producing harvests faster, which means you're spending money faster as well, which is why you get a big build-up. So there's our God, I got that way faster without the quota boost. So still everything's fine, happy chilling. I can even get my gas at 13 as well if I wanted, because I got a lot of quota boost, which is everything's hotkeyed. So next is your pylon. Obviously, how you can work things out if you forget these numbers is, I'm producing from my gateway. I'm sorry, I'm producing from my nexus. I have my pylon, I have my gateway, I have my gas, which means obviously my next X amount of money I can spend on what I like. So my gas is about to finish. Let me send guys to gas. My gateway is still 10 seconds away, so I'm just chilling, building harvesters. My cybercore is about to go down because my gateway does finish indeed. Let's produce a zealot from this bad boy. So, like I said, still no chrono boost, as much as it kills me not to do that. So just keep building harvesters. Like I've seen before, now look, I've got a lot of money. I'm building a zealot, I'm building harvesters, I'm good for supply. Might as well spend the rest of my money on another gateway. So, as soon as your cybercore finishes, you build your warp gate, which I just cancelled by accident. And then, of course, just start building stuff from your gateway once again. Got my pylon down because I will need it soon. Oh, let me just chrono the crap out of I hate not having the chrono. I hate having the chrono there, I can see it. So, still building stuff. I'll take my extra gas just because why not? That's another thing I've noticed as well. A lot of lower end players will always have the two guys really early, and then by like 5 minutes they have like 1,000 gas banked up, and it's like, it's like, what's the point getting your gas so early? So, like, I can spend my gas a lot faster than most players. So, I'm just building units. Like, I haven't gone to scout the Terran just because if I'm a new player, I don't have the multitasking. I shouldn't really have these towers either for a new player. I'm gonna take this tower just so I can see any units. So you always want to see if there's anything coming towards you. Get them. And then for the majority of your time, just chill in your base. So let's build some more stalkers. Do I have 5 gates? No, that's my sepulchre. Okay. And okay, so here comes his forces. So I can see them coming, which is once again a lot of new players will just be like chilling here in the base. Should be okay. I might actually lose it a second. I've just been happy chilling. Okay. So warp gates are finishing just in time, and I'll have just enough to warp in 4 stalkers. Just spot on enough. Look at that. Right. So he's coming in. And most players didn't even click either. So just like fight, as you can see. Bit of micro will save the day. And look how easy that was. Like you just seen me beat them pretty easily with stalkers. And I just wanted to wait. I haven't done much. Like I could have had an infinite amount more. I didn't even use a single chrono boost, and I still held that pretty easy. Like one thing, you gotta get all your hotkeys going, all your rally points, all that good stuff. You have to have all of them. Still have that zealot as well. How the hell was that? Did that survive? Still got all my corner boost to spend it all. Oh. So he should have quite a lot of units, because unless I'm just gonna, yeah, see. And obviously, it is taking me a lot longer because obviously I'm not going up to my, I'm not playing my best, but I'm just showing you how easy you can really smash the Terran, especially when Blink finishes. Oh, he's got concussive shells. Come on, I haven't finished. Let me corner boost that because it pissed me off. He doesn't know how to micro. Okay, here we are. And then we have a little engagement, and then with some blink control, it's like the easiest thing in the world. And there we are. Just, a lot of units. Fair enough, that did come down a lot to unit control. And there we are. That's pretty much it. The computer would GG in a second. So yeah, scene. So yeah, as you can see, like it's so ridiculously easy, and that's just you just build stuff. Look, he mined a lot more than me because I was chilling. I didn't really go crazy with my economy. I built 20 harvesters and that was it, which is probably still a lot more than a lot of newer players will build. I have a pint of tea, so I'm going to have my caffeine fix now. So yeah, that is just an example of how to play against the AI. Let me look at some builds that I have now of myself playing the AI. Like maybe even, like I have one of doing that build against an AI. Um, because I have just like a ridiculous amount of games, so bear with me. Like I was BMing me. I remember him. What game was it? I'm sure it was this one. Alright, so we see the exact same build I pretty much just done against that Terran, and this is against a real person on ladder. Alright? I'm sure it was this one. I thought he was this end though. I hope this is the one, otherwise I'm just going to show you a game where I lose. No, it went this one. I think I lose this. Yeah, I think I lose. Ah, that's right, that guy done that tank push. Nah, scum. Hate the tank pushes. Alright, so it should be close. Kingdom. And there, I should be this guy. So, here we are looking at this. So I'm going to show you this game, and then I'm going to show you another game from a professional point of view. Alright, so I come down here, I harass. Obviously, this is me playing standard, so I know exactly what to do. And this is quite interesting. I didn't see the command center outside. This game will also. This is kind of where it'll benefit like the higher end players now, or the mids and stuff. This isn't really so much for the newer end, or the newer players. Of course, we have to kind of balance it out. We can't have everything about the new guys because what happens with the old guys? So I come in here. I'm like, okay, he's walled up. He's going double gas. At first I'm a bit like, that's double gas. He's holding me off. He's letting me see it. But actually, it's okay. His build was a bit thrown off by my harassment. So he goes double gas into CC, which is actually ridiculously greedy. Because of course I see these double gas, I go double gas in return because I'm expecting some sort of one base play, all that good stuff. But no, it's just me being an all-in, pretty much. Because at some point I just fall too far behind when I realise what's going on. So I have to continue doing this build, and I hit him at quite a nice timing before he has too many tanks to really do anything. And he doesn't have very good observation skills. Like, he doesn't have anything, like a depot right, but that would be really nice. So he's going, oh, that's right, I catch his... I think Chad does. I was on the Skype call with you while I was playing this game. I was like, yeah, I just smashed this Terran. He's got double reactor factory kicking out Hellions, which is like an absurd amount of Hellions. 4 per production cycle, which is only 30 seconds. Which is just an insane amount of Hellions, really. And, in the meantime, I bring back my units. Because of the double gas, I hadn't seen the expansion. I hadn't... Well, I'd seen the bunker, but I hadn't confirmed it. So, I have to play a bit more careful. Because sometimes you'll see Protoss just sneak a probe in. Or, like, they'll attack the bunker while a probe goes in, just to see the command center. He killed my probe, so I didn't have that chance or opportunity. So I just play it smart. Like, I don't, I do a bit of scouting around here. I leave my units in my base. Because with a double gas, he can go Banshee, Cloak Banshee, or just straight mech, or anything like that. So, I'm coming. This is some lucky timing by myself. How many is it? I thought it was a lot more than that. It was only 7. I chase him down quite far. And he goes to try and dodge me, so he ends up going a bit longer than he should. He gets past with 5. It's kind of sad how bad stalkers are. So I warp in units here, I wall off my ramp, easy peasy, just to stop them getting in, and then obviously I can catch all them all off guard. Apart from this one, who's one shot away, and ends up dying anyway, as he comes home. Yeah, okay, I did kill him. I actually, at one point I do warp in a unit, just in case. So, in the meantime, like, I have my blink, and with that, oh, sorry, I thought I was going to burp then. Whew. So yeah, I warp into his main, because I have vision with the observer. I kind of see he has tanks, so I have to be very careful, because obviously tanks have further range. And I send the zealots after the tank while I go into the front, and then I get a nice blink up to finish the next tank off. So he has only 4 marines, which obviously going to do no damage. And Hellions do okay against zealots, but they take a lot of shots, so like the splash adds up if there's a lot of zealots. If there's like one zealot taking a shot, it's not really as worthwhile. So I have my observer here. He brings off his things. I blink up. Fair enough, I lose this bad boy. But I kill the tank. The tank is really important. And from that point, it's kind of like a yeah, it snowballs pretty much. Snowballs pretty hard. And this is pretty APM intensive as well. Gotta make sure I don't lose units stupidly. And because of that, my money has shot up. And then this is still going on. I don't even know what he's doing. I think he's just in distraught. He's like, damn, I totally got owned. He's just looking around his base. Still has higher APM than me doing absolutely nothing. It's strange. And then he tries to come off with the rest of it. I'm sure he brings off every SCV to come fight. Nice little bit of unit control there. I blink these bad boys up here. Haha. And that's just micro, micro, micro. And he leaves the game. So then, that's just a straightforward. I did expand because I started to do a lot of economic damage. Like I killed all his harvesters, so that's always very good. That's always very good indeed. So, a couple of things to talk about, right? Well, we've looked at some games, so let's talk about some things that can hopefully benefit you, alright? So, in PvT, let's look at some compositions, alright? So, I said, actually, yeah, let me go into the arcade for this. Because obviously, you know, like you can look at the unit thing in F12 and be like, okay, Marauders are good against Stalkers. But when you have, you know, Stalkers, Zealots, Sentries and Immortal and stuff like that, you know, then a different unit composition has to be done by the Terran. You know, they can't just have Marauders, for example. So this is looking at unit compositions and stuff like that. So the main Protoss army is always going to be your gateway units, which is these bad boys. Then the next tech of choice is your Immortal, which is these bad boys. So this is kind of how it goes, right? Then, so we'll have these. Then it's obviously it's Marine and Marauders against these. This is like the Terran version. This is the compositions that you fight, right? So these come in. If you bring these in, by the time these are in, then you have your stim and your combat shield, which is, you know, you stim and you can run faster, and the Marines go up in tens, right? So a normal Marine, for example, a normal Marine is like this. See, nice Marine, and these ones are like this. They have combat shields. See? Combat shield, no shield, right? Let me kill him. So then you have your stim and your charge. And then, like, this is how it escalates, right? This is how a fight, or, you know, an army, a game escalates in terms of tech and who's ahead, Protoss or Terran, right? So, yep, like I said, gateway units, V-bio units, then it's Marauder, then it's Immortals, and for the Protoss it is, for the Terran it's the Bio Stim and Combat Shield upgrade. Then for the for the Protoss it's your Charge upgrade, then it's your medevacs for the Terran. And these pretty much even it out. These are about even now. Then of course, you know, if what do you call it? My mouse is playing up what? And then if you get your Storm classes or whatever, you just add, you know, Vikings. Then if they go High Templars, you add in Ghosts. And that's pretty much how it goes. So, you know, Colossus with the range, HTs with a Storm. And that's just how it works. And then it becomes a bit of a micro fest because obviously you have the the Vikings after the Colossus, the HCs trying to get everything, the Ghosts trying to EMP everything, especially the High Templars, and then it's pretty much up to the Terran to micro their asses off near enough most of the time. Because what kind of happens is if we kill everything, just let's not kill everything. There we are. So let's get some bio. There's some decent bio there. So we won't have many sentries, just because I'm not gonna force field because then it's like, oh, but everyone knows what force field is or should do. You know, they're these bad boys. They produce force fields, yeah. And we're just gonna have a bit of an engagement. So I'm gonna come after these bad boys. So stim, and then you got might go like a boss then. And yeah, Terran smashes that army pretty easily. Mainly because, you know, obviously this isn't a real life situation, but if we have a crap ton, this a lot of Marines. So how many units do I have there? Quite a lot. There's actually a couple more orders. And this have a lot of zealots. A couple of stalkers. This is about right. So let me attack move so they don't attack into the buildings. Of course, what's going to happen is the zealots charge first. So, ready? Get ready. Stim. And you just, you know, this is how it goes. You just gotta keep kiting it. And it'll lay. So yeah, And that's just a standard army. Normally you have medevacs by this point. Like, because how it goes, of course, as we change the scene, because I have to commentate as I do things like that. Um, of course, how it goes is, you have your gateway units, and obviously, as the game goes on, you get more tech. That's how it goes. So, you get upgrades, stuff like that. So, once again, we'll go over that as gateway units. V-Bio, that's pretty even. Then, it's things like the Immortals will come out, and then you get your Stim and Combat Shield. Those kind of even things out. Charge upgrade kind of adds to it, because you can get charged by this time as well. So, Immortals will charge, kick in. Once you have them, Medevacs come into the game, and obviously they heal the units. Damn dog. They heal the units, so kind of... I picked those up. There he is. So, it just works out like that. And then once you have your Stim, your Bio, your upgrades like that, and the Protoss has charge, Immortals, etc., etc., then you move on to the tech. Protoss will always choose first, and then will be either Colossus, which is these bad boys, and they either choose them or they choose the High Templars with the Storms. And of course, once the Terran spots these, it's their turn to react, because you know you don't really get Vikings out unless you see Colossus. Sometimes you normally preemptively get them, and you'll see a Terran with like one or two before they see any Colossus, and it's just in preparation. A pint of tea takes like an hour to cool. It's awesome. And yeah, what if they go for the High Templars? Then you just get, of course, your ghosts. Ghosts are pretty awesome anyway, so it's always nice to have ghosts, especially with the EMPs. And there's a lot of other things. Like, for example, if I go High Templars first, you have to go Ghosts. And then Ghosts are straight up just, they are good. Like, so if we walk like this, so let's get these bad boys. Alright, so let's EMP. Oh, I got an EMP. Another EMP, yeah, I get that. And then Snipe. Oh, yeah. See, so just some, that's how micro works. And then, as I was saying, so you have your Ghosts, and they beat the High Templars pretty much, because High Templars cannot reach the ghosts before the ghosts can EMP them or snipe them, because they just straight up outrange them. And then what happens is then the Protoss will go for the Colossus, which are these, and these counter ghosts because they outrange them. If we have our range, which we do, see, they just take damage. So that way, it's a nice little tech switch if you go for High Templars into Colossus, whereas if you go for Colossus into High Templars, like they'll have Vikings, they'll be like, okay, there's Vikings, and you'll always have a hard time like trying to take out the Vikings or trying to lower the Viking count, because they always want a lot of Vikings to deal with Colossus. But if you tech switch from Colossus to High Templars, they know that what's coming next. It's just how it happens. But the High Templars don't really counter the Vikings that you already have for the ghosts, and they should already have ghosts starting to come up, because it's late game. You have the Colossus, they have Vikings, they just need the ghosts, and it kind of equals itself out. Whereas if you go for the High Templars, the Colossus beat the ghosts, so for a moment you have to take advantage over your opponent. And there's a lot of like levels and how it works. Let's look at some other things on just how to micro against a Terran. So here is a Terran Reaper. Oh, actually, let me just build one. I don't know why I built two. Let me build a crap ton of probes. Right. So, alright. So, this Reaper is in my base coming after my harvesters, and I'm like, yeah, bugger off you. So, you just micro. But what you want to do, right? You burn off your harvesters to chase the Reaper, and then it micros, and as it's doing that, you gotta pull the hurt ones out. So, like, like they're on the same speed, so like it'd be like grab that one as they're mining, and that's how you efficiently deal with Reapers. So it'd be like, I just like microing as well. I don't know why. there's loads of little tricks actually you can do. Like, for some reason it doesn't say F1. Like, when you're in game it says F1, and I was going to show you a trick with Hellions, but never mind. So what other tricks and tips do we have against Terrans? Is there any... Oh, I just noticed I went to the wrong screen. I'm a cheesecake. How long have I been in this screen? Hopefully not all of it. I have been for a while. Alright, so I was showing some tricks, which really weren't that important. I was just showing micro against... Oh, what the... Oh, there's a Colossus. So let me get some Zealots. Oh, actually, a few too many Stalkers. Get some bio units. I'll add in 2 medevacs. Because this is, this looks like a mid-game army, so I'll show you guys again, just some micro tricks. Shadows, I know you're a Terran and you're here and your micro is poor, so this may benefit you. So, it's hockey yet. So, I just want to control my units, not my medevacs. So, stim. And this is pretty much, this is the type of fight you never really want to get involved with as a Protoss, because you just get owned. Whereas how it kind of works as a Protoss, so let's build some more bio. I'm not going to go massive amounts, but actually maybe I will. And so, 2. How many units do I have there? Okay, that looks about right. So, I'm going to play from the Protoss perspective now. I'm just going to stim the Terran's army and smash it, hopefully. I'm just going to... So, and then it's just going to be like... See, and then, the Terran can't stim his army. So you got... Well, yeah, they can do that. I mean, they can't escape. But you take so much damage. Oh. I want to play with the Terran, because realistically, as a Protoss, it's a lot more micro-intensive for the Terran to deal with your army as opposed to the Protoss dealing with your army, because you get the force fields, you get the with the sentries, and then once the Zealots are on them, that's kind of how it goes. And you shouldn't really chase the Terran army. You just fight, get a nice little position, and make them run away. And as I just showed you, that is kind of why, because they're just the Protoss. The Terran's army is much more microable. It's much more... There's a lot more potential, I guess is the better word to say, if in the correct person's hand. Whereas Protoss's army is just like, you just gotta work on having good force fields more than anything, and trapping them. Like if you have a lot of Zealots, like actually, let me just show you an example of what it's like. So let's just build pure marine marauders. I have 2 medevacs. I'm gonna go against a ridiculous amount of Zealots. Oh, wrong one. And we'll just, show you how units can just get smashed. And of course, Zealots are ridiculously cheap, so this is a much more expensive army of the Terran. It has gas, feeds just Zealots, but with charge it does make a big difference. So we're gonna do it this way, and then it's like stim. think I had too many zealots here. Oh, yeah, I messed up. Just kite them like crazy. Okay. Alright, that one actually. I think I had too many zealots there. It's kind of hard figuring out what's a good balance, because obviously when you do it like this isn't real game scenarios. It's like sometimes I'll micro against my friend in here and I'll lose. But whenever I play him in a game, it's like I never ever lose, just because real game situations pronounce, they give you different ways of thinking, and obviously the more, well, the better player or the person who's with better unit control would just always smash the other guy, because that's just how it normally goes. So this what's a good way to talk about some more unit control? We have our tanks. Let's look at another thing. Like we have a few more orders. So how many is that? There's 9 more orders. Let's do 9 stalkers. 9 stalkers. So like this. Oh, I don't have blink. That's why. I thought I had blink. See, you just can't beat marauders with stalkers. Even with blink, they just get smashed. But if we look at this, we have 8 stalkers. Actually, I like 5 because they one shot. Actually, let's do 6. Alright, 6 stalkers will one shot marines with combat shield. Let's just have a lot of marines. Alright, so attack move. I do this so they don't automatically start attacking the buildings. And I'm just gonna join in the fight with some stalkers, and I'll just show you, like, there is 20 marines v 6 stalkers, but this is just because of the unit the units and stuff like that. They just smash it. Look, so target him. Bit like that. Oh, there's a bit of a misclick there. Once again, this is one of those times where, like, this is not a real game situation, so you never have this much space to just micro against marines. As you can see, like, if I just click on one really fast, I can get away faster. Whereas if I A move, I take more damage. Mm, there's only a few. Where did they go? Oh, they're over here. Hey! Get away from my buildings. And that's just a nice little micro there. Yay. So yeah, that is just a bit of unit composition, some unit control, how to micro, and obviously how it kind of escalates within the game. Because that is really important. Like, you can't stay on the same unit for half hour. Yeah. Yeah, I'm on the right screen now. I was spun out then. I changed that, and then people are still messaging me, so it's like, oh no, what's going on? But yeah, that's fine. So that is just some unit control tips, stuff like that. So of course, I have my usual homework, and then of course I have the questions that you guys have to answer. And if anyone's wondering, if you can't remember what that is, every month we have like a bunch of goodies to give away. We have cups, mugs, hats, lanyards, pens. We even have a BenQ bear. I think it's like a toy. I don't know exactly, like a teddy bear. We have all those to give away, and how we're giving them away is by questions. Every episode, I'm gonna ask questions, and you have to have like the collection of answers, and whoever has the most wins the most prizes, stuff like that. And yeah, so the homework is, of course, you have to go over pretty much everything I just said within this episode, like especially the units like micro and stuff like this. You have to have all of this, right? You have to have all of this known. Like, apart from the ones that don't really make sense, like Archons v Ultras, like, I can name you everything that all these are. Like, if we click on these, it's going to be Marines, Hydras, and Stalkers. Oh, it's weak. What? Weak against mirrors. Okay, fair enough, it's weak against mirrors, but it should be Hydralisks and Marines. It's a bit strange. Like Colossus, that's going to be weak against Vikings, tanks, and Immortals. No, it's actually Corruptors. See, it's just, some things just don't make sense. Roaches, they're going to be weak against tanks, Immortals, and I don't know what their Zerg counterpart is. Is it Hydras? No, it's actually the Ultra. Oh, actually, yeah, that is true, the Ultra. I'm not Zerg, so let's go back to Protoss units again. Stalker is weak against Marauders, Roaches, and Immortals. Oh, Zerglings. Damn it, I'm getting all these wrong. I should normally have them all right. It's just, I guess it's real life scenario. I wouldn't say Zerglings exactly. Roaches are pretty good against them, because you can blink. What else have we got? Colossus. I talked about them. Immortals. Talked about them. Carriers. They should have Corruptors, Vikings, and Stalkers. Voidrays. I disagree. Voidrays are okay. So some other units. Let's have a look. So like I said, you just want to memorize all these. Some of them aren't really that correct, or you know there are units that do other damage against them really well, or there's other units you think to go for when you see them. Um, like Marines, they're going to be weak against. They're going to be weak against tanks, right? Tanks for Terran, Banelings, and Colossus. Yeah, and they're not really that strong against Hydras. Hydras outrange them. That's strange. But yeah, anyway, you want to learn all this, guys. It's ridiculously important that you have all of these known. And of course, the two questions that I have for you guys are: question number one is what's the fastest possible time you can get Warp Gate out? So do the math. And the second question is, what's the speed of a charging Zealot? Right. And yeah, that is it then, guys. That is the end of this week's episode. Next week's episode is going to be Protoss v Protoss, which is going to be very exciting. It's going to be pretty standard, obviously. I only have to look at it from one point of view, so it's just more discussions than anything. And also, if you guys are interested, we will be doing a show on Tuesday called, it is Gimbal and An's show. I don't know exactly who the guest is, but we do shows on Monday and Tuesday. We do League of Legends tutorials, like we're doing now, but for League of Legends. Then we do the Gimbal and On show on Tuesday, and we also have some more shows up and coming. So go check them out, guys. Of course, I want to give a shout out to Definitive Esports or d-esports.com. Of course, this is why I'm here doing all these things. You know, we're part of these. I also want to give a big shout out to BenQ, who are the title sponsors of Chobo2Gosu, which is what this is. I can see you giving a love sign there on anything for you, bro. And yeah, BenQ, legendary company, really good. They sponsor great players like I need to say BenQ then. They sponsor Grubby. They also do the tournaments like IEM, BenQ. I said it again. BenQ. It's awesome. MLG is the one I meant to say. And then they do other shows and teams, like they do StarTale, big sponsor StarTale. I can't remember everything off the top of my head, but they sponsor a ridiculous amount of stuff, and they're also a really good company, guys, so go please check them out. And yeah, that is the end of this week's episode. Go follow me on Pughy Dude on Twitter for next week's episode, or for any updates of what's going on, because they all go via that. So there we are, guys.